All right. We need to talk about Heavy Metal Magazine. It was announced that it was going to be having a reboot a while back. It had a giant Kickstarter, of course, based on the brand. And these brand Kickstarters do go absolutely crazy all the way around. And I actually picked up a Heavy Metal Magazine, $14.99 price tag, but it is a very thick magazine, a very thick and big sort of deal with a lot of stories out there. And so with all of that, I was able to of course, read all this and then do a review for you guys so that you can check this out. Now, this is AIPT's review. They're just the standard comic book shills, and they gave it a 9 out of 10 immediately. Now, this is pretty interesting, and I would say that, like, it opens up really, really strong. Really, really strong. But there is a problem, and the leftist politics do seep into this. Now, I was warned that there was going to be a bunch of woke activists taking this over when they first started announcing things. They assured the fans at the time that, okay, we're not going to really do that. And this is a nearly, I guess, over a 200-page magazine. So the leftist politics in it only exist for like 2 of the stories, really, which unfortunately they were the last ones. And so here's the thing: just when you format things, what gets remembered the most out of anything you do, and in terms of like a magazine, an anthology, a book, the beginning and the end are what people remember the most out of anything. Is just human nature and all that. And so when you have that, that's the last message that resonates with people. And so they do go into identity politics at the end. It does put some cringy message fiction at the end, and this could have been perfect. And for the first like 150 pages, it pretty much was pretty good. And of course, in an anthology, it's going to be what it is. There's varying quality stories, varying quality arts, different styles all over the map. And because of that, it's so painful. I just wish they wouldn't have done this. So let's get into this review. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things in comics, my friends. And I have a newsletter, and I am producing comics very on the regular. If you like hard-hitting comics, of course, I'm blacklisted from the industry. You'll never see any of my work in heavy metal. I'm too scary for them. But I have my artist who actually goes through pseudonym, so she doesn't have any problems. Used to work in these types of magazine sort of situations back in the day. I can't say what she was in exactly because, of course, then you'll figure out who she was. But for my Overmind and Ayla Rin adventures, you'll see that we have a lot of that classic European style that's really, really cool. And we're building a lot in comics. So check this out in my web store. If you want to check out my comics based on my thoughts, I really appreciate the support, guys. And get on the newsletter for our next projects because we have huge things brewing right now. Thank you so much. You get 3 free books for doing so. It's a $50 value. Thanks for hanging out, guys. And, of course, being a part of what we're growing in independent space here. So as you can see, you can see this sort of deal here, and this a bunch of their different reviews here, and you can see that they've got several good ones, and a couple of these were a little rough, but they called it great, and 9 out of 10. Now I wouldn't call it a 9 out of 10. Even with this, a lot of the conceptual stuff is like it felt nostalgic. But it's stuff we've seen quite a bit in the past. And so I'd call it, like, even before all this, probably an 8 out of 10, but it was still solid. Solid restart overall. And I really liked the first story quite a bit. This one right here, where they've got the mercenary, where, of course, he pulls the bug women out of this this web, was really cool fantasy and really, really nice art as well. The first story was not this. The first story was called, and I'm thumbing through this right now, it was called Bug. And I guess they didn't like the lettering on it, which I kind of see right now, but like that's quite a nitpick because it's pretty cool art. And that's actually the most compelling story is the first couple of here, which is good because you do want to front load some great stories so you get everybody really hooked on this stuff as it goes along. Now, most of it's pretty science fiction and fantasy oriented, and they do, this is heavy metal. So if you are not familiar with heavy metal, they go into the fantasy art with the boobies and stuff like that. It does exist a lot in all this, and you get some, Red Sonja style characters that are in chainmail bikini style armor, beating the crap out of people as well. And but it's definitely one that's like geared more towards male readers than it is towards a female reader who's trying to They love turning these men's brands into female brands these days. They didn't do that here, thankfully, except for the last couple stories. Like I said, it's pretty interesting all the way around. I would say I enjoyed most of the stories, as I mentioned, and they do give some history stuff of heavy metal magazines as articles and things like that in here, which is kind of interesting if you've not delved much into that. But it's mostly just an anthology of comics and a lot of really interesting ones. Now, the last couple of stories go on this like weird feminist bent, and so you've got this one, the last one, second to last one's called Valentina, and it's this pencil art actually for the most part with like very detailed and she's getting like kind of it's this woman's fiction where she's like, modern men. Sometimes I think today's world is too difficult, tiring, and complicated. I wish I was living back in the 60s and I would have been a star. And she has these weird dreams where she's clearly getting like, ard quite a bit. And it's really weird. And it's definitely got a weird feminist sort of bent to it, which just, kind of flies in the face of the rest of the the magazine. And then the very last one, you get this like pretty interesting like robots thing where this like it looks like this villain is a commie robot that starts off with like run capitalists, and then the person shows up and fights against the commie robot, and it's a very fun robot fiction adventure. And then a black woman steps out of it and walks up to a bunch of shocked white people. And then there's a drinking fountain for white people and colored people, and the white people look shocked. And then she goes and drinks at the drinking fountain, and then goes, "Children always remember when they see something new," as a commentary on just like racism. And it's like, ugh, really? Like, why did you end your first issue on this? Like, it's just like you took something that was really, really interesting and just wrecked it by doing that. And so, like I said, 90% this was there, and it was what heavy metal should be. And then that 10%, it's like they can't help themselves. They just have to go there every single time. And here's the thing. Like, I mean, they always do this. A lot of people go, well, it's only 10% of the line, right? It's like, but it's always one direction. There's never any, right-wing commentary in this stuff. And in fact, like I said, they would never put out a story for me in there where I actually do kind of the reverse commentary, right? And it's because they just always go one direction, and I'm so sick of it. And so heavy metal, like this could have been great, and it just really puts a sour taste in your mouth because of the whole diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense that they keep putting into everything. So there's my review. It, like I said, up until that point, like they were firing on all cylinders, doing pretty good. And, it's an interesting start. I got to urge them, because I'm sure they'll watch this. They always watch these type of reviews. Don't do this type of thing in the future. It just sours everything when you put your left politics into stuff like this. And this is not a left-leaning audience that's as interesting in heavy metal. So you're barking up the wrong tree by doing that kind of thing. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If you like my commentary on comics and writing and the like, please sign up for my newsletter, guys. It's so important so I don't lose you. Get your 3 free books. And if you want to check out some good stuff, this is one. Deus Vult could have been serialized in heavy metal very, very well. If of course, they didn't have the political agenda. I think they would have loved it. Check out some of my books, guys. You'll love them. It's in the description below. Thanks for being here. We'll be back soon.